Yields, I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record the white paper for more than 30 aviation stakeholders outlining several priorities on air traffic control infrastructure and staffing sent on February 9, 2025, without objection, so ordered. I recognize Mr. Bresnehan for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all for taking time to come out here and testify in front of the subcommittee. Something that we've been hearing a lot more of is the conversations relating to ADS-B, and I am a licensed helicopter pilot, so obviously my heartfelt feelings towards the DCA tragedy and really where the terminology, something that we frequently reference in the world of aviation, but something that gives me the agita when I'm flying is not every aircraft is equipped with ADS-B. And my first question would be to Mr. Bunce about where do you see the technology moving with third-party applications, and how can we in Congress try to ensure that every aircraft is equipped with ADS in and out technology?
So, as you know, when we initially made the mandate out there, it was what we consider in the veil. So basically underneath really busy airports, Class B, Class C airspaces we classify. Once you get beyond that, then it's not a requirement. But if you think about where we're going as a nation, we as an aviation nation, we're employing advanced air mobility, but also drones out there. One of the impediments to the beyond visual line of sight rule that is stalled right now is because we don't have a way to deconflict, especially with helicopters that are flying down low below 400 feet with those drones. But our drones now are equipping with technology to be able to detect that ADS-B signal, and NASA is actually taking on an effort to see if we can field very low-cost systems that we already put out in sailplanes, and if that signal is strong enough to be able to allow the drone, which you can't see with your eyes, to be able to avoid us. You know, those drones, it's a big deal. We saw in California that drone impact of that water bomber out there, and it's only a matter of time where we're going to have a significant mid-air collision with a drone that can take down an aircraft, especially if it hits in the windscreen. So this is I'm glad you brought it up, because this is a really important priority that we look at expanding that technology.
You nailed it. And I mean, drones very frequently, helicopters are flying 400 or 500 feet AGL, and a drone gets into a rotor system, it's going to be a bad day for everyone, which kind of catapults into my secondary question. I did a lot of my training in G airspace, very rural areas, but you still have the deconflicting element with military aircraft. Just this weekend, when I was flying and preparing to return, there was military aircraft performing training operation that was not broadcasting. I grew up and flew very close to Fort Indiantown Gap, and oftentimes, unless that military aircraft is communicating on your local frequency, and you may then try to reference some kind of, you know, a ForeFlight or a Garmin-like application to try to get visual orientation as to where they may be. Is there any conversations, and perhaps this could be for Mr. Daniels as well, is there any conversations about forcing or mandating military aircraft to start broadcasting?
Well, for national security purposes, we obviously want our military aircraft to be able to turn it off when they need to, because we don't want them to be tracked. But, you know, in the case that we all saw here in DCA, if there wasn't a national security imperative to have ADS-B off, hopefully, you know, no military aircraft would turn that off. And again, it's such a safety enhancer to be able to be out there, see it electronically, and then train your eyes to where you need to be able to look. So I think not only that, but also in this day and age, we should be able, when the military flies, to be able to transmit to all of Mr. Daniels' workforce advisories to let us know that there are military aircraft out there and be on the lookout.
Congressman, I appreciate the question. We've historically supported anything that brings more situational awareness to not only the air traffic controller, but the pilot as well. Any efforts to bring that capability to both of us in any capacity, we absolutely would want to be a part of, collaborate on, and implement at the soonest possibility.
I think when you're flying in helicopters, traditionally flying a lot lower to the ground, and you know, this specifically just happened to me just this last weekend, and you could see other aircraft, even if it is displaying on ADS-B, something that's 2 miles out or a mile out is literally a speck. And when you don't see it and you hear that call when it's too late, if that person just happens to broadcast on the frequency as they're transitioning through a specific airspace, it certainly is always something that's in my scope of concern. So very excited to hear that there's some movement here, and please let us know if we can be helpful with that. Chairman, I yield back.